Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yes, I'm excited today. I'm excited because I'm going to talk about someone who really influenced my understanding of women's fashion, my understanding of women's style, my understanding of aesthetics, helped me to cultivate my taste. From afar, she had no idea she was doing this. That is Phoebe Philo. I discovered Phoebe as a result of being an avid user of Tumblr. Tumblr, some of you may or may not know, was an application that was very popular. I want to say between the years of 2006, maybe to about 2012, 13, maybe. And in that period, that's how I discovered Virgil Abloh. That's how I discovered a lot of people, but that was really a major introduction for me to Celine and by proxy Phoebe Philo because I wanted to know who is the person behind this brand, How is she doing this? Why is she so cool, I I was so I was so intrigued by it all. It captivated every brain cell in me. It captivated my entire imagination. Like you would see these pictures, the advertising or the styling, and it was just different to everything else that I had seen. And so the reason why I bring up Phoebe Philo and Celine specifically is because there are a lot of designers, some of y'all's favorite designers now, who came up under her during her tenure at Celine. And I don't want to say that they're her children, but basically they are. I'm sorry. We all have to admit that we start from somewhere. And I can't help but believe when you look at the aesthetics that these designers have now, it had to start from somewhere. Over the course of time, things develop, things improve. You you add and remove, you edit, subtract, divide. But in general, the foundation has to come from somewhere. And Phoebe Philo was that foundation for so many of them. So I'm going to go through them for you because it's important to understand just how deep her roots spread. We're going to start off with the most famous one, Matthew Blazy. He was senior designer at Celine from 2014 to 2016. Surprise, surprise. uh, I'm not trying to take away Matthew's pure, unadulterated genius, absolute blessing, a gift to the industry. I'm not taking that away from him. But he spent a lot of time, 2014, 2016, under Phoebe. We also have Daniel Lee, who I mentioned in my other video. He was design director at Celine from 2012 to 2018. That's a long time he spent watching, learning, absorbing, imbibing, digesting. Very important to digest. And what we have now is a designer who is fully formed, fully fledged, respected, adored. He's currently at Burberry. He's doing good there. It took him some time, but I believe that he has found his groove and I believe it can only get better. Then we have Michael Ryder. Michael Ryder is currently at Celine and he was design director at Celine from 2008 to 2018. That's a whole decade under the beautiful tutelage of Phoebe Philo. And what Michael Ryder is doing at Celine, don't even get me started. He's he's doing something, let's just put it that way. Then we have Chamna Kamali. I hope I'm saying her name right. She was junior designer at Chloe under Phoebe Philo. Some people know this. Deep cuts. Phoebe Philo was at Chloe before she was at Celine, where she probably did just as important work. Chloe was exceptional during Phoebe's time. Still is a pretty good brand, but it really was exceptional during that time. Then we have Peter Doe. I love Peter Doe. Oh my goodness, I love Peter Doe. Peter Doe was designer at Celine from 2014 to 2016, and he's currently at Helmut Lang. He also has his own brand. What I love about Peter Doe is he obviously coming up on the Phoebe, he has a very minimal take on design and aesthetics, and he found a way to put in signatures without making them obvious signatures. And I don't know how true this is, but I read somewhere that Peter Doe has a tattoo of a line, just one line, and it goes from his neck, if I'm not mistaken, all the way down his arm, all down one side of his body, all the way to his foot, I guess. And that one line is on one side of his body. And on some of his pieces, you would see a hem that goes all the way down the skirt or the jacket just on one side. Pronounced yet subtle. To those who know, clear, but to those who don't, just a design flair. And I love that. I love that. I love Peter Doe. If you don't know about him, you should please check him out. Who else is there? Then we have someone called Johnny Coker, who I didn't know about before this, I have to admit. But he was accessories designer, design director at Celine from 2010 to 2015. Then we have someone called Veronica Leone. Oh, Veronica Leone is also doing amazing work now. She was at Celine 2014, designer at Celine 2014, and she is currently at Calvin Klein doing exceptional work there. Exceptional work there. When I heard that Calvin Klein was coming back to runway, elated. That was my childhood. That was me at age 9, 10, seeing runway of Calvin Klein. When you thought about fashion back then, being a child who was partially raised in an American household, my siblings have American passports. Calvin Klein was a benchmark. You know what I mean? It was very important to us, and I will always have that space in my heart. I mean, if you didn't have Calvin Klein underwear, what were you really doing? What are you really wearing? Really? If you weren't wearing CK1 perfume at age 12, 13 when I was in boarding school, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you wearing? Do you know what you're actually doing? You don't. So she's doing great work there. I digressed. Then we have another guy called Rock Huang, who is who was a designer at Celine 2010 2013. He's the founder of his own brand Rock, and a lot of people I've seen comments here and there, and also from my understanding of it, it looks quite a lot like the old Celine with his own flavor. By the way, he's Korean. If you don't know what Korea is doing for the fashion industry and style and aesthetics, go and check it out. It's not just K-pop, it's not just skin and beauty. They really understand aesthetics, like really understand aesthetics. Outside of the Japanese, I would say the Koreans are the next Asians who are doing style and dressing and putting clothes together in the most exquisite way. So, Rock Hwang, he's doing good work. Then we have a guy called Drew Henry. I'd heard this name before, but I didn't know much about him. He was designer at Celine from 2014, and also he designed for Phoebe for her own brand 2020 to 2023. Currently, he's at Courage. Courage is a beautiful French brand. I believe it was started in the 60s, maybe even before that, by a French guy, obviously. Andre Courage, that's his name. Um, what I love about Courage is the name Courage in French means runner or messenger. And I like how it sounds phonetically similar to the French word for courage, which is courage. I love that. I love that. I like when I find these parallels between things that are seemingly separate but actually sort of come together as well. So he's doing really good work at Courage rather, and he really is following in Andre Courage's footsteps with regards to the aesthetics and the ideology of the brand. Another very cool thing about Courage, I just remembered, Andre Courage was a trained engineer who worked under Cristobal. Wait, no, I should say his name properly. Cristobal Balenciaga. Oh my goodness. Whenever I read stuff like this, I love it because it just goes to show you don't let them tell you you can't do it. This guy was a trained engineer. Do you know how long you have to go to school to become an engineer? And then you know what kind of skill you need to have to work under Cristobal Balenciaga for 10 years? Which means he was gifted. That's just it. He was gifted. So Courage is another brand that I I stand over, and it's owned not by Kering, it's owned by the Pinot family's holding company, Artemis. And I wonder why that is. Why isn't Courage under Kering the way all the other brands are that Pinot owns? Why did he put it under his private company, Artemis? And it reminded me of the good boss, Mr. Bernard Arnault, and the beautiful, beautiful French luxury leather goods company, Moina. If you don't know about Moina and you like bags and trunks and stuff like this, you're sleeping. That's all I can say. You're sleeping. You've dozed off, in fact. Done. Moina is exceptional. The craftsmanship, the attention to detail, the simplicity of it, the heritage. It's real. It's palpable. You can taste it. You can feel it. If you walk into a Moynard store, you're greeted by the echoes of the beauty and the hard work and the craftsmanship that goes into what they make. It's really a different level brand. I really recommend, if you don't know what Moina is, to go and check it out. So Bernard Arnault for a very long time was treating Moina as his private project. So like he owned it. And Moina also is not under LVMH. They are under Group Arnault, which is the French, which is Bernard Arnault's family holding company. Well, probably one of. Um, so yeah, it was very interesting to me how both these guys could spot when a brand required extra care, extra attention because of where it's come from, how it was built, the reasons for it being built, and also understanding that maybe this thing isn't for everybody. So let me handle it with care. And so it shows with Moina, it shows with Courage. So yeah, this was the that was the list of the people that Phoebe, I don't want to say trained, but they worked under her. Look, I've had people who influenced my style, my understanding of fashion. My mother is a designer, major influence on me, but major influence on me not with regards to style, but with regards to the understanding of style and knowing that it's something that is very individual and you should not let it be dictated by your surroundings, the people around you, peer pressure, trends. Your style should come about because of your personal tastes, the things that you like or you don't like. And most importantly, style will always evolve, tastes will always evolve. Be free, open with them. Let them evolve, let them change. If you saw me when I was 19, the way I dressed, you might shut this thing off. I looked completely different. I dressed in an entirely different way. But at the same time, there was a backbone that ran through from the very beginning when I started dressing myself all up till now, that's still the same. I have a very astute understanding of colors, and there are certain colors that I like and some that I abhor. And it doesn't matter that they look good on me, I just don't like the color. I'll give you an example: red. Red is a color that looks amazing on me. I will say that. It works with my skin tone. I just don't like red. I really don't like it. I don't know. It just, to me, it seems it seems so loud and it seems so obnoxious, and I feel like there is a red dot in the middle of my forehead if I wear anything that has red on it. And I do have items of clothing that have red on them, but I don't wear them very often for that reason. So this is what my mother taught me. She taught me how to understand those specific tastes that I had, those proclivities, those interests, the leans, the directions, the likes and the dislikes, and how to formulate them all together and make something that is unique to me. And I believe that my style is unique to me. So Phoebe definitely had an influence on these guys, a very good influence. And I'm sure if you ask them, they have great things to say about her. Phoebe really, she changed the whole thing for me because I discovered that when she was pregnant, she decided to move the entire office and everything to do with Celine to London. And this for me was so powerful because when she came back after that pregnancy, it was like Celine was on steroids. It's the power of motherhood. And I believe that when we as human beings tap into that thing that makes us who we are, and that is the empathy, the ability to share ideas, to to commune with people, to share love, to to be part of a community. All of these things, when you add them in together, it can only accentuate the abilities we have. It can only accentuate our skills. And Phoebe for me was a prime example of that. She can do no wrong in my eyes. I don't know, maybe she's not even a nice person. I don't know. But every time I see her, I just get gassed. I'm sorry. I just love her. She's incredible. And if I ever get to meet her, I can't wait to tell her that she had such a massive, massive influence on me, even though I'm not a designer, not even a stylist, but she had a massive influence on me and my understanding of creativity and how a person can let it and can channel that creativity out in such a way that it can literally affect generations of people. Because if I'm talking about Phoebe from the time when I was 24 and I am almost double that now, how many people have been born in between? All of these designers I just rattled out for you, how many of these guys, look at all the direction they're going in. Matthews at Chanel, he was at Bottega. Daniel was at Bottega, he's now at Burberry. Kamali is now at Chloe. This other guy is at Celine, Riker Ryder. All of these people doing incredible work, but it all started somewhere. And the whole point of all this for me is, I feel like if you're going to start a brand and go into the creative world or have a creative pursuit, even if it's just making content, there should be something that is an originator, the foundation. And whatever the foundation that is, it's got to be strong. It needs to be well thought out. It needs to be built on something that is real and tangible. And even if it's not tangible, it needs to be a real emotion that you have, not something that someone else has told you about or tried to teach you, something that you genuinely feel. And for me, this is why I love Phoebe Philo so much. She she did exceptional work when she was there, and she fostered a whole generation of designers and people who a specific aesthetic. They just follow that whole minimalism thing. Yeah, it's from Japan and everything, but it was brought to the forefront and to people's eyes and popular culture, and she was one of those vehicles. She was one of those vehicles. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to talk a little bit about Phoebe. This is a long one. I love her. She's amazing. Celine, old Celine, you don't even understand old Celine. It was unbelievable. The clothes were spectacular. Well, anyways, as usual, I don't make the rules, I'm just an enforcer of it. And I wish you all the best and see you soon. Peace and love.